to the hundreds and possibly thousands listening around the world. Welcome to Wise Guy Sports via Matt and Framingham. Pumping it up on the Red Pill Dispensary. Let's get ready to rumble! Olivia! Olivia, ring that bell! Olivia, ring that bell! We can't start till Olivia rings the bell. All right, come on, Olivia. Get ready to rumble. Yeah, to the microphone. Yeah. Yeah. You did good, yeah?
Yeah.
You say, let's get ready to rumble. Ring the bell. Yeah. Good job. Yay, Olivia. Hey, Philly, watch out. Philly, move. How about say ready, set, go? Yeah, now ring that bell. All right. Thank you, Olivia. Everyone says thank you, Olivia. Everybody's saying thank you. All right, guys. Speaking of chat, there's gonna be two chats. There's gonna be the regular chat that we have. Let's see here. So, all right, there's gonna be the regular chat right here. And let's see. I don't even know if I just did all that. It didn't really go the way it was supposed to, but I might have just did it for no reason. Let me just make sure. So there's this one, and then I got another chat going right here. All right, guys. So, anyways, so my Red Pill Dispensary audience is here, but I want them here because I think a lot of them don't know about my other channel, Wise Guy Sports, and Wise Guy Sports News and Betting. I do that, but there hasn't been sports for months, so I haven't been doing it for months. And, the channel kind of died. But basically, I was thinking because something so crazy happened last night. And the thing is, it's conspiratorial. It's straight up stinks what they did last night. And it's in a sport I love. Fighting, UFC, and in UFC, you can use it's any style of fighting, so it's different fighting styles from all over the world. I love that. You'll have like a couple of years where like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, they kind of like run the table at all weights, and then all of a sudden, just straight up brawlers. We're running the table. So you have you go through phases. Right now, we're in this phase where it's kind of like the ground game, not so much the jiu-jitsu, but Brazilian jiu-jitsu is kind of like running some of it, but it's at the lower weight classes though, like Khabib, whose father just died, rest in peace. So we won't be seeing. He's like the most electric guy outside of the heavyweight that nobody wants to fight. But the big fight that everybody wants to see is Jorge Masvidal and KAMARU Usman. Now, if you guys are not familiar, I'll help you be familiar. And the thing is, there's no sports. I mean, like literally, like degenerate gamblers, that that follow my I don't really give it out that much because it was tied to an internship. I did a radio station for a while, and then I was there for a little bit after that as well. And I just didn't want what I do with the red pill mixed. But at this point, I don't care. Yeah, I realize just be myself. So, and this is conspiratorial. So this is, this is something that I just have to show. I can't not show you guys how crazy this is. So, I'm gonna show you guys right here. So there's Wise Guy Sports sent me. That's the. So you see, by the way, guys, do you guys see? Just want to see what you guys see. So look at that. That is, by the way. So this is what this is all about. They were looking for a big fight for Fight Island. They finally opened up Fight Island. People thought that, Boston bred Dana White, who back in the day when he was buying, actually before he bought UFC, he was doing a lot of like stuff underground, and he legitimized himself. He was underground. He was one of the good old boys, and Bulger and him had some problems at one point. No bullshit. Because he's not just from Boston. He's from my spot, just north. Actually, Winter Hill, which is exactly where my father grew up, where I grew up early years of my life. It's a good, I think it's a good place to, and it was during the craziest times, the friggin' 80s. I mean, they made movies. They've made I don't know how many movies about those years in that area. So it bred some tough guys, and one of them is Dana White, the owner of the UFC, and he don't mess around. I mean, just in the past couple of months, he's had Conor McGregor, Jorge Masvidal. Yeah, the guy who's fighting him. Yeah, both of them had said, "That's it, we're retiring." I mean, this is what, like, Conor's fourth time retiring? And the great part is that if Jorge wins, the next fight, I mean, it's already, like, obvious. It'll be Conor. It'll be Conor McGregor coming back against Jorge Masvidal if he wins. That's a big if. Because the champion right now, USMAN, is no joke. He is a bad boy. So, anyways, this is what happened with this. Now, this is what like really makes it conspiratorial. I mean, no one's even like no one's even asked the question. You know why? The UFC, Dana White got a big chunk of change. They saw the potential worldwide popularity of UFC. ESPN has been going down the tubes. I mean, all TV stations are going down the tubes. Everything's going on the internet, but especially ESPN, because ESPN got too political and lame. And then it's like, after a while, the one guy that I kind of liked was Stephen A. Like, I'm talking like 5 years ago. And then he became the most annoying person, and just hearing him talking about fighting. Oh, there was this one time. Oh, let me show you how this guy. Let me show you how. Now, some of you guys that have actually trained boxing. I did some stuff at the Single Boxing Club before I went in the military. I remember being 15, and they couldn't believe I was 15. I mean, I've been the same height since I was like 13. I think I grew like a half inch since 13. So I used to the cops used to mess with me a lot, but they always thought I was much older than I was. I'd be like 13, my underwear. I remember one time said hot stuff with peppers. like green and red peppers, and the guy's like, "Yeah, hey, nice underwear," and you're like kind of listening, like, "What the?" And I think that's when he realized this kid might be younger than I think, and I'm patting him down for drugs. I was 13. I was just into basketball. That's all I was into back then. Well, basically all sports. But when I was 16, my father brought me. I forget why he brought me. Maybe he just thought it was a good thing for me. Because I could already fight, but maybe he just thought I could, learn the right way. We don't want to do that. Learn professionally. Okay, so let's see. Because you know what it is? This thing, this overlay. All right, so what's shady about this, by the way? So here's I love I love this. All right, so, I'll just go to a simple one, and I can make it like the background. That way it doesn't mess with stuff. All right, there we go. I use his spotlight. All right, so I hope the audio is good. Again, put chat up. So there's going to be chat here, and there's also going to be chat all plugged in. All right. Open the phone, bro. I'll open up the phone. First, let me just go over the basics, just the basics. And I was actually gonna do the phone too, but anyways, but yeah, like my father, he was on they won the state championship every year. He was there. My father with Somerville, or at least his. I know they won his sophomore, junior, senior. This is when he was a junior, and he was already a captain as a junior. I have a whole scrapbook. I was just looking at. Oh, that's my father, bottom right. You guys can't even see, but if you recognize my likeness, that's my father. I mean, he was a tall guy, strong guy, and was a starter on some. And Somerville was one of the best. It was every year one of the best teams, and they finally got good enough where they won the state championship. And the thing is, when you live in big cities, you're Division One. Unless you're high school, unless you split up the like, for instance, like Newton North, Newton South. Like Newton's kind of like a richer area. I forget which one is like the more money area, but they bust kids in from the city. So I think he did actually go to a rough high school, but Joe Rogan actually went to Newton North and Newton South or something. Bill Burr, Canton, everyone that they think grew up in the city didn't. They grew up like way outside the city. So it's just kind of funny, but it's my father. I have this whole scrap of all his military records. He joined Vietnam. He wasn't drafted. He joined, and the Air Force had just started. We're talking Vietnam, so Air Force was new, and it was like very high standards to get in there. He was real smart, extremely athletic. They took him, and they told him he wouldn't see combat, and just relax in the Philippines, you'll be good. I guess it didn't go exactly like that, but he wasn't like so much like in the jungle fighting like that. But he had a lot to do with other things that were important, very important, to the troops on the ground in the Air Force, which I would say he was smart and lucky to enlist before they started drafting. So it's like, You know, like those are the guys who, you know, they're going, you know, under their own will. Anyways, let's talk about this fight. Usman is the champion. This guy is a beast. Let's get a look at Usman. And by the way, so okay, so I remember this, and I won't forget it because at the Super Bowl, like the guys that when I turned at the radio station, and then when I was working there for a few months after, first of all, they told me about this one brand, Sully's, here in Boston. I don't have any sponsors; they're not a sponsor of mine. I just happen to like them. You know, it's a lot of Boston stuff, but really they have everything. Like, you know, like clever, anything from stickers to clothes, you know, shirts, hats, anything. So I just know Sully's. If you just look it up, I don't even know what it's called. Sully's t-shirts, I guess. Sully's, something like that. Anyways, so let me just show you guys. I want to show you guys when they first started having beef. So this was like meant to be. But this is why it's conspiratorial, just so you know. Usman, the black guy here, he was supposed to fight a guy named Burns, who he was heavily favored. We're talking like I was seeing 4.5 to 1 odds. So that's like a, you know, it's a long shot. Nobody was betting on Burns. All of a sudden, Burns, he's negative for COVID because they get tested like every day. He's negative in the U.S. As soon as he lands, and I knew, by the way, I knew it. I was like, Fight Island is obviously going to be at Dubai. I mean, Dubai is the type of place that would do something like that. You know what I mean? Like they would let you build a little island just off their coast. Of course they did. So they build a little island called Fight Island. And it's almost like fighting in international waters. Dubai, I think they have, at one point, I knew it was nothing but Bentleys. I don't know if there's anything that's past a Bentley as far as luxury. Like only Bentleys were there for a while, but maybe some deal was made and there's other type of cars there now too. Because that would be kind of annoying. Then again, I mean, whatever. But yeah, it's like, it's unbelievable. Dubai is unbelievable. It's not the first time they've used Dubai, but it is the first time that they used. And I just wanted to make sure that you guys got to see that. That you guys got to see this right here. That, you know, that's, I guess that's it. And it's just a bunch of people around here. Either that or it's like a tease for it. I'm not sure. But yeah, it looks like judge table. Yeah, this is legit. I think this is it. And looks like these are the stands. I mean, because we're talking Dubai. You don't have, you know, 50,000 people to fill up the arena. I mean, there would be, trust me, especially now, because nobody was excited about this fight. And it was the first fight on Fight Island. Something that, you know, Dana, he put a lot of effort into this. So he couldn't have been too happy with the card. And obviously he wasn't. And I think they pulled a fast one. Knowing him, they pulled a fast one. You know, like I was mentioning Whitey Bulger because he pressured Dana White back in the day. He didn't even have the UFC. So I forget. Not that I forget. I never knew, but whatever business he was in, it was clear that he was a up-and-comer, you know, the type of guy, like, you know, your legs will get broken if you screw them, you know, but at the same time, trying to be legit and all that. So eventually, I guess he just got enough money and bought the UFC with some partner and then bought him out. And anyways, I just mentioned that because that's the type of guy he is. And he didn't back down. He might have showed some respects, you know, I don't know, but he didn't back down. I know that. Obviously, I mean, look at the situation, position he's put himself in. And so anyways, so basically with it's just so weird. So this guy Burns, who was supposed to fight Usman for the title, he lands in Dubai, gets his test because they have to get a test, and they have to get they don't just do the quick test with saliva. No, it's the up the nose, or like the Trump actually did a pretty good job of describing it. Like it felt like he was being scratched, like his brain was being scalpeled, and he was like, "That's no good. We need to think of something else." But apparently, that's the one that's the most accurate, and they are the only sport that is able to do this, despite things like baseball. You'd think they'd be able to make it happen, especially like, let's say, without fans. You think they could do that? This is two guys literally fighting to the death. It's just someone has to stop it before one dies. That's what it is. And they're using all these different types of techniques, from brawler type, fist throwers, to jiu-jitsu, to boxing, to kickboxing. A lot of jiu-jitsu is putting you to sleep. Or they put you in leg locks, and if you don't tap, your leg gets broken the wrong direction, your arm gets broken. So we're talking serious stuff. And this guy Burns is obviously an amazing fighter. He's fought his way up and to the position where he's the next guy in line, because Jorge Masvidal said, "You're not paying me enough." Not just him, a bunch of people. Because I think they were trying to do a Jorge Masvidal versus Conor McGregor. And both of them said, "You're not paying us nearly enough." And basically, they're kind of like setting it up like Dana White's taking too much money. They're not making anything. And they can't get promotions. They can't walk out like actually Reebok. At least that was at one point. I think that's still the case, though. Like promotional money is more than what you get for fight money. And then every night at the end of the fights, Dana White says, "All right, the two fights with the bonuses, the best fight of the night or whatever, goes to this fight." And it's like one gets 500,000, the other gets 250,000 on top of what they already would be getting. And then like best whatever the night goes to who and or something like that. There's always like these bonuses. So anyways, Usman was going to fight this guy Burns. Burns gets to Dubai, tests positive for COVID. Interesting. It's like the most random people test positive for COVID at the most random times. Because I'm going to tell you, this was going to be one of the biggest duds, okay? I mean, Usman is a beast, but he doesn't talk a lot of crap. He doesn't. I mean, he has a huge following like in Africa, but it's just not that enough of a market where they can, where a lot of people order on pay-per-view. And Burns wasn't much of a talker. Good fighter. He's probably gonna get his ass kicked. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, as far as betting goes, Jorge Masvidal opened it up at almost the same exact line, 3-1, 3-1. And right now, the money's going on Masvidal because everyone's so excited to see him fight. He hasn't fought in so long. I mean, this guy's a nutcase. Let me show you a few things. So I'm just going to show you a couple things here. Just to, all right. So they both went negative. So it's definitely 100% on. So, that would literally, it would have been a dud. After building after coming up with the idea, building it, negotiating, X amount for, Dubai and all this crap, figuring it all out, getting all the testing down, and they've done a good job. I mean, who would think of all sports, UFC is the one. And it's made them so much more popular because, well, degenerate gamblers, for one, they're betting on like anything, so they're having it, they're loving it. And people who are casual are now starting to really understand the who's who, like the legends. Like a lot of people don't understand the Diaz brothers. I mean, if you fight them, you need to be like ready to put your life on the line. Like that's how that's how they fight every fight. That one of them beat Conor McGregor. I mean, he was a higher weight, but hey, no excuses. He took the fight last minute. By the way, Jorge Masvidal took the fight last minute. He has 6 days to drop 20 pounds. Now, Stephen A. Smith, Mr. Sports Center, was like, what? 20 pounds in 6 days? How are you going to do that? I mean, I'm worried about you, like, physically, like, your health, and are you going to be okay? And, oh, my God. I mean, this guy is such a clown, Stephen A. Smith. I can't get over him, how much of a clown he is. Now, it sounds crazy, but listen, I mean, he could probably even drop 30 in 6 days. There's certain things they do nowadays. I mean, there's certain doctors, they'll take you on and they drop you. And when you stand on that scale, you are at a very light weight, and they make sure that every drop of water and just as much as possible is out of your body. Make weight, and then you gain it back as much as it back as you can in a healthy way, And the thing is, their bodies get used to it. It's a good thing and a bad thing. There's been some people who say that over time it has bad results. Other people, say that once your body just does it. It doesn't have as much of a toll on your body. So you see all these things like. And, in 6 days, you could easily, up to 30 pounds you could drop, they say. Not easy, but you can do it. And this guy's been doing interviews and, I mean, he's just staying hydrated and, but he does have to drop it. But I have a feeling, I mean, how do we know what he weighs right now? He probably weighs about 10 pounds less than what he's saying. He probably has to drop 10 pounds, which is a lot easier than you think. Get all the fluids out of your body, after like having a very, like, I don't know, there's ways. You look it up. Trust me, it's very doable. I mean, I don't like it. I mean, it's just like all they do is like try to balloon up afterwards. And the person that you see in the ring is not the person that you just saw step on the scale only like 2 days before. It's a totally different person, totally different weight. It's just like this like fugazi thing that I don't like. It's made to, because just only 10 pounds means a lot. But when you're cutting weight, it depends. Some guys are, they're on the side where, they don't have to worry about the weight. Other guys are like barely making it every fight. But if they went up a weight class, the guys are just too big. So it depends. It's good. You want to be like in a little sweet spot where you can cut a little bit of weight, but it's not too much. And that's Masvidal's weight. So I think he'll be fine, and I think that he's been ready to fight. So here's opened up 3-1. Now this is when they had like legit beef, Usman had hurt his arm training. He had a cast on, and I remember hearing about this. I forget if New England was in the Super Bowl. I mean, we were in the Super Bowl like what 3 out of 4 years in a row. I think we were. Um, and someone told me about this, and I didn't know who Jorge. I had heard of the other Usman, and Jorge Masvidal I had heard of, but only as like a fighter that was very good, but he like his candle kind of blew out, and he lost a couple fights and dropped out of the limelight. Well, he went down to I think he's from like Puerto Rico, or it might actually be. Hold on. No, I don't want to get that one wrong. I mean, I know he like fights out of Miami, but first thing people ask, is he Mexican? No, so he was he's born and raised in Miami, so he's an American. Cuban father, Peruvian mother. Pretty cool mix, Peruvian and Cuban. I thought he was Puerto Rican. But then I remember a South American country being mentioned, and so he went down to Peru, and supposedly, I guess, like he got in touch with his roots. You know what I think, honestly? And you know what? I think he even mentioned on the Joe Rogan podcast, but he did talk about how he went down there and got in touch with his roots and like realized like, why am I stressing about this, and why am I killing myself to do this when it doesn't make me happy? It's like, like you have those moments in life sometimes, especially with, I don't know, when you're in Peru, and everywhere you look they have like what is it, the toads and the ayahuasca, and, you go on some kind of like life changing and mind altering journey, and come back with a message or a perspective. And what he came back with was, you know, what am I stressing about? Like, what's the point of all that stress? It doesn't help me to, all it does is make things tougher. And he said it just dropped like a huge weight off of him. And at the time, he was doing some like show, one of these shows to, because at that point, he just kind of like was like, screw the UFC, I'm not good enough. And he was doing some like reality show, and then he was like, screw that, I don't want to do that either. And he just started training and training. And all of a sudden, he came back to the UFC like a different person. And listen, they test for the steroids. I wish that they tested for steroids, but didn't in the heavyweight division. That would be interesting. I mean, because heavyweights, it's just like, I mean, it's basically whoever like catches the other one first. I mean, they're just huge. I mean, it's almost like so crazy how big some of these guys are. And we're talking like, heavyweight, which is like, you know, two something, whatever, and up, and that's their fighting weight, and it can go as high as, and go way, way up. It goes way up there. People thought Brock Lesnar was just a WWE fighter. There's been a couple of them. CM Punk, although he ended up being more, I ain't going to call him a punk at all, because anyone that steps in a cage where another man who's a professional fighter is going to fight you to the death, all right? Like, if that ref doesn't stop it quick enough, or that guy hammer fists you enough times in the right spot, you are not going to be the same. So I respect the hell out of these people. So anyway, so Jorge Masvidal, I think that he really did trip out on the ayahuasca, came back with a message, and they say it really expands your mind. And I mean, people swear by it. I don't know. I never did it. I did shrooms before. That's the only thing I ever did. I was young, though. I did it when I was like 17, and actually a little bit younger, maybe 15, 16. And I never did it again, because because I had a horrible trip. I had a bad trip. I was with all my boys, and they were all trying to fuck with me. So that's a horrible thing. You don't want to go through that. So this is when it all started. This is when they had their first beef. So I'll be able to tell you. Oh no, so this wasn't the this was the last Super Bowl. So this wasn't a Patriots Super Bowl. Um so let's see now. Let's see so it looks like they've had beef. So actually, you know what? It makes sense. It looks like no, I don't want to see. See now, I think USMAN has a problem with his wrist. So let's check it out. Now, in most situations, the person that's like yelling, do something when they're being pulled back by a bunch of people is the one that will get fucked up. And the guy who's calm, I mean, the guy who's calm in war is the guy you want to be worried about. All right. I mean, he has I think was he champion at the time. I mean, this guy, I'm telling you, he had some kind of experience in Peru with the ayahuasca. I'm telling you, it really changed him. He came back a different man. So don't go by his old fights. Go by since he came back, because it's like night and day. And they do steroid testing. It's a mental thing. He figured out a mental block that he had with this stuff. Um, Now, don't get me wrong. Usman is still heavily favored, and Usman should win. But this guy is a big draw. I mean, he's been fighting there forever. He's been doing private fights. He fought some someone. Him. Trump had like a private thing where he had like Masvidal and probably some other huge dude, and they, bet. This is what like the elite do. They have these fights, and they'll set up like a fighting area, and they fight, and they bet and shit, and those are the ones I'd be more worried about, because hey, then you don't have a ref and a camera and a organization, that would be responsible for your death. Just some rich people would drop your body somewhere and give the guy like another cool 100K to shut his mouth. But you know, he does. There's the videos of him street fighting, like Kimbo Slice. He came over to UFC at an older age, but again, just like this guy, he's young. He's a little bit older than he looks. Kimbo Slice came to UFC. He did okay. He didn't do great, but he did okay. But he also got his ass kicked a couple times and realized that, when the guys can do other things besides throw punches, you're gonna lose. And Kimbo Slice is that guy who's famous for like the backyard fighting. Jorge Masvidal did some one of those backyard fights, um, and he won. I remember seeing that the first fight I ever saw of him. I was very impressed because the other guy was like huge. And the thing is, he only has 6 days to prepare for this fight. He only had 6 days. He only has 6 days to prepare. Either this is a setup, or they're setting him up for saying, I'm retiring because Dana White's being greedy with the money. Well, he got his money now. Dana White had to bite the bullet and pay him. So maybe the guy really did fail the test. It just seems shady. The whole thing seems shady. See, Conor, he knows. Conor, he'll be fighting Conor next. But I don't know. Usman, I think Usman might win. Yo, he said he's gonna baptize him. Everyone's like, what do you mean baptize? I guess what he said, I heard him say. Oh, so this is him back at Super Bowl. I just hate that. What I don't like is this is ESPN. Damn, man. Yeah, see. So anyway, you guys get the gist of it. This is a go. So he's talking about Usman. He's talking about all these people, but first he had to do a couple things, and I'll show you what he did. He started waking people up. Anyone could just talk tough. You gotta, let's be real. You gotta really. Now this guy Ben Askren, I mean, like one of the biggest reasons he got a big fight like this, that was like a really like it was really like a pumped up fight. It was his amazing here's him about to fight Ben Askren. He is the world wrestling champion as far as wrestling. So what he does is he gets you down the ground, and it's like he just never lets you out of it. And he just was doing it to man, guy after guy after guy after guy. And then everyone was like, I'd like to see Jorge Masvidal. He's looked good since he came back. That'd be an interesting fight, how would that fight go down? Is he gonna, wrestle? Is he gonna be able to like stop the wrestling and actually fight? Because he's more like a fighter. He has like love handles. He just look like he just got back. It's just some people fight with heart, some fight with technical skills, some it's a mix. Some play mind games. Like this guy had talked so much shit to Ben Askren that it's basically like what Conor McGregor does. He was going up against an undefeated champion. This is when everyone realized Conor was the real deal. Going up against the undefeated champion, and the guy lost his head and just ran at Conor. And Conor hit him with a left hand, and his left hand landed just a quarter of a second before the other guy's. Why am I saying other guy? What's his name? He was champion forever. He was champion for like 10 years. Conor took him down finally. I'll say it later. I can't even think right now. Anyways, he caught him. He knocked him out. Boom. Like, that was it. That was the whole fight. So if you get people to lose their head, and kind of, control their mind, that's a skill. That's a skill that Conor had. Conor would get under everybody's skin. And then Ben Askren tried to trash talk him, but it just didn't work. It didn't. I remember when Ben Askren was talking all kinds of shit, and I'm telling. I had to keep reminding myself. All right, no. It doesn't feel right, but this guy is the best wrestler in the world, and like world-renowned wrestler. So here's their fight. Shouldn't be too long. Look at him. He just sits back against the thing. He's pissing him off. Oh! All right. Flying knee. That's Joe Rogan you hear. Oh my goodness. You know why? Because like Joe Rogan thought that Joe Rogan had predicted. He said Ben Askren is going to go in there and kick your ass. You know, win the fight. You know, he'll get him in some kind of hold or, you know, win the rounds. And that was it. He got the guy so mad that he went running right away, went low. And when they asked Jorge about it, he's like, you know, I came up with it in my head. I just thought of it. I was like, you know, this guy, he just wants to wrestle. He just kind of go, you know, he keeps on trying to, he's like, I watched him fight. All he does is put his head into people's dicks. That's what he said. Yeah, I'm not gonna, I don't know, sorry, I swear, but, you know, he puts his head in their fucking dicks and tries to wrestle them and shit. I just figured, hey, you try to come near me, I'm gonna fucking hit you with a flying knee. And that he did. And Rogan was the one that really got Ben Askren to the heights and to this fight. But when you're dealing with an actual street fighter, a street fighter. Wow. Fastest knockout ever. It was Conor second, but Joe Rogan said a different name. He said sorry, someone else. He said sorry. I thought it was Conor, that one that I was just telling you about. Oh, Joy. Okay, that's a. I mean, who does opening up with a flying knee? If you miss, you're screwed. This guy's just waking up now. So listen, if you guys are really gonna be in for this fight, Masvidal against somebody. Now, Masvidal is taking this fight on only 6 days' notice, supposedly. Let's just go. That's the official story. He's taking the fight on 6 days' notice. It's next Saturday. This coming Saturday, the first Fight Island, the first fight night of fighting on Fight Island, because you know Dana. Hey, you know, first of all, he did the first. He's already done like 4 events, but you know, every state, you know, like Florida is getting some crap. Even though, if you really look at the numbers, the more you test, the more the positives are gonna go up. Well, there's more hospitalizations as well. Yeah, because people have been sitting at home, freaking ailing injuries. Like honestly, like there's 2 different times I would have went to a hospital that I actually ended up. I'm gonna be going at some point. I'm still, you know, I was in the hospital only recently. It just got so bad. Oh, he didn't even have to punch him. Yeah. Yeah, the fight wasn't stopped until that second punch. He didn't have to punch him, though. He didn't have to punch him. He didn't have to punch him, man. Oh, man. Oh. Well. Oh, you know. of the very first second. You kidding me? All right. Then he had like a real, like I was telling you guys about the Diaz brothers. A lot of people know Nate Diaz now because he beat Conor. Then Conor came back, trained for that fight. Because again, that was a fight. It's not just hard on the person coming in out of nowhere. It's also hard on the person that is like coming in that has that trained for one guy, and then you have a totally different type of guy coming in. So so when Conor actually got to train for Nate Diaz, who was like a straight up California gangsta brawler, and that's perfect. Everyone, this is a great fight. And then Masvidal, a Miami, you know, Cuban Peruvian gangster. Like these guys, they're like seriously. When I say gangster, I literally mean like gangster. Like they don't they like they live it in the streets the same way like they talk it. It's not like the way punks do it. You see how like when USMAN was talking all that, he wasn't like you didn't see Jorge acting like that because Usman had a cast on. You know, like I just walk it like you talk it, or talk it like you walk. What's that stupid saying? All right. Oh, oh, oh. I mean, these are like two of the toughest fighters there are. Yeah, right. Like he doesn't care. This is so. This was his next fight after knocking out Askren. They just laughed like, oh, like the way he took out. You actually have to fight a fight, not just 2 seconds. And there was actually a lot of gang stuff, I guess, after this fight. I don't know who's what. From California, Bloods and Crips, Kings and Disciples, and all these different gangs. Folk and like 5 and 6. Like the Kings. Ooh, Lion Kings at 5. Oh, oh. But the thing is, this guy is not Ben Askren. He should be knocked out, but he ain't gonna get knocked out. He's got too much heart. Like a lot of you guys might have seen him last against Connor. I mean, anyone else would be out right now. Just I'm gonna mute it here and there because I gotta be careful. But I just don't want this to just stop on us. And I saw Kevin from Chicago at the top of the show. I'd love to take some calls in a minute. I just want to go over some because I haven't. I'm only showing you the underdog, a heavy underdog at that. But if anyone wants to know my bet, this is what I say: sit back, let people keep getting pumped up because Masvidal will be doing most of the talking. The line is going to move in his way, and right before, no, I wouldn't say right before the fight, but like like probably about 4 hours before the fight, take Usman. All right, to the wise guy bet. All right, how did we do in football this year? All right, we only had 1 week where we had to pay the man. I'm telling you, Usman. But wait, let the line keep going. It's gonna keep dropping. Right now, you're not getting enough for your dollar. Yeah. Crazy round, right? I mean, these are the type of guys. Like I said, Trump back in the day, they would hire fighters, and you know, um, uh, you know, just bet. He did it at the Playboy Mansion, and he won both fights. That's why he was sitting there chilling. He knows that they all know him. Um, you know, I mean, Nate Diaz is tough, but I mean, you can see Masvidal. See, Masvidal is ranked 3 here. Diaz is ranked 2. Is it 2 or 1? 2. He's not the champion. I know that. You see, Diaz just keeps coming. I mean, they both keep coming. Both tough dudes. I mean, Diaz, like, this fight reminded me of Connor. It's like Connor dominates early, but then just like as it goes, just Diaz is able to take so much punishment and keep coming. Oh, that elbow! By the way, just so you guys know, elbows are way worse than punches. Look, he's still waving on him. Like, come on. And he said "F you" to him. And you know what? early in the first round, he actually pointed at his elbow, like I'm gonna, like don't, like saying, letting him know I'm gonna elbow you. I think that put put that in Masvidal's head because that's how he ended up just hitting him right with that elbow. I don't think he would have threw the elbow in that situation. It was an awkward time to throw an elbow, which makes me think it was oh, oof, another left. This is the legend of Nate Diaz. I mean, he will just brawl it out, and all of a sudden, in like the third and fourth rounds, he starts winning rounds. It's like it's amazing. Um, you always get an amazing fight when he's in there, but he's in there against somebody who knows the underground fighting scene that Nate is involved in. So he's fighting basically one of his peers, someone who you know is so lethal because you know they're actually like doing it in the streets for money too. Need a few bucks, you're low on money. You need a few bucks. You call up some place, have some like underground fight. You know, take a beating, but win, and go home. I mean, UFC. It's not just like punching. This is a very rare fight that people wanted to see. UFC is all different martial arts, and these, don't get me wrong, these guys are martial artists. It looks like two guys just beating on each other and wrestling, but no, there's a lot of martial arts going on. They both have a ground game, but when it comes down to it, though, what makes them win or lose is just hot. And nowadays you see like a combination of martial arts. John Bones Jones, he like created a martial art and just named it whatever. He like made up the name, and it's basically just a bunch of martial arts mixed into one. That it just works for him, and he's undefeated. He's got it. See, you couldn't do that. He couldn't do something like that unless he knew jujitsu. He almost got his ankle there. If he got him there, I mean, I don't know if Masvidal would have tapped. He might have had to break his ankle. Ooh, that would have been bad. And by the way, Nate Diaz literally just he just that right would have took down 50% of professional fighters. Ooh, nice couple lefts on there. A crazy fight. Yeah, significant strikes. Significant strikes. It was 64 to 34, I believe, roughly, in favor of Masvidal. Oh, I mean, these guys are tough as nails. Woo! I forgot. This was a real good fight. He just caught him. That was a sneaky right. That really made. Yeah. Ooh. That it's now his vision. That impaired his vision. The blood is now impairing his vision. Oh, that those shots to the body hurt. He just hit him with a kidney shot that would drop most people as well. That was a whoo. Yeah, but these are like two like street fighters, you know. Nate Diaz was favored in this fight, if I remember correctly. I'll look it up. I'm curious who was favored. Let's do a little mute, void. I don't care if I get a copyright. I don't care. Right now, I'm streaming on a bunch of different platforms, basically everywhere except for everyone says it's like the Wild Wild West at D Live. Yeah, right. I lasted there what 1 or 2 videos until they took me down. I mean, like it's not tough enough to fight someone like Masvidal. Diaz's other problem is having to get the blood. I mean, every 5 seconds you see him, trying to get a little bit of air, but mostly trying to get the blood out of his eyes. There was one shot, and it's those shots that you kind of move into them. It was a sneaky right that really didn't like look like much, but it was a lot because he leaned into it, and it was like usually like when you throw a punch, if you hit someone at full extension, just at that's ideal. But at the same time, if they lean into a right, this might be. Let me see. That ain't the one, but that was a big one too. Oh, right to the kidney. A kick. Oh, you can tell that hurt. Oof. He doesn't stop. He never stops. I mean, these guys, they love it, and they're loving it. After every exchange, they say something to each other. So what are we at? It's round 4, if I'm not mistaken. Right now, I got it 3-0. Oh, and by the way, because he keeps on touching his eye, he's making sure his eye. He said like maybe you shouldn't. He wants to stop the fight, and Diaz is like, no, he's refusing. The doctor wanted to stop the fight there, but he refused. He was like, screw that, no, I'm fighting. So, and this is on the Conor McGregor. Maybe it's like a. Here we go. Here we go. The doctor wants to stop it, but no. I forgot that's how it ended. For some reason, I thought that it just went the distance, and it was crazy. Oh, you know what? I do remember. And look, Masvidal wanted to keep going. He feels bad for Diaz. I mean, for him to take all that punishment. See, there's respect right there. There's respect. He didn't give any respect to Ben Askren, that doctor. You know what? Oh, they were in New York. That's right. Yep, I remember this. They were in New York, and Dana White was pissed after that. Like after that fight, he goes, "What the hell?" He goes, "This is a UFC. You know, it's gonna be bad. You know, they like the guy wanted to keep going. Let him go. He was pissed. I remember after this fight. That's right. That's right. Okay. So check this out. Anything ESPN. So and then his brother Nick Diaz is also the same type of fighter, and Nick Diaz was actually the more famous one, and then Nate Diaz really became famous when he came in last minute, just like Masvidal is doing in this fight. So Daniel Cormier FaceTimed KAMARU Usman, and I was listening to that earlier. This is UFC. I won't be able to watch that. Let's find something. JRE will definitely get me tagged. See, ESPN, they got to get their hands on everything. And then, of course, ugh. Yeah, see, the resurrection. I mean, this has been his year. You know what? I think this is. If I just take away the volume, because it's that's what the hell they get you. They have like a theme song. You're talking about Khabib. Yeah, because basically everyone just after Conor McGregor, everyone adopted the style of talking trash. Now, people like the two fighters we just saw, Masvidal and Diaz, that's how they always have been. But fighters who were never like that turned into that, and so Dustin Poirier is saying it's nice to see someone like Khabib on the top who doesn't talk crap. He's very religious, extremely religious, Orthodox Christian. So yeah, extremely. Um, and his father just died, literally just died. That's going to hold up him fighting for a little bit. Um, which is why. So you have Khabib's father dying, which is going to hold up his next fight. You have Usman fighting, you know, somebody who's good, but he's not going to draw a big crowd. I mean, they got this fighter is Israel. He's amazing. But I'm trying to think. They could maybe put him up against Masvidal, but at the time Masvidal wouldn't fight because he said they're not giving us enough money. So I'll just play this like this. This is a good. That's Burns, the guy who tested positive. By the way, tested negative in the U.S. Gets over to Dubai, tests positive. Interesting. I do not think that that's legit one bit. Not one bit. Do you think that they built Fight Island for that to be the big fight when you have fighters like Masvidal, who just saw his last two fights, how convincing he is, and these are against the elites. Oh, also, by the way, there's another fight. So, oh, look at this guy. This is that this so I don't like that music in the background. I feel like it's the way that they trap you. Oh, that's oh wait. That's so it's Holloway against Vivianic. Vivianic. That's I like the man. Everyone likes Holloway. I think it's easy money. Picking Vivanovic, I believe is his name. Vivanovic. He's gonna be the guy. I think he's gonna beat Max Holloway. You know, he try. He has, as far as like going to the ground, I just don't see where Max Holloway can handle, as long as he can keep Holloway from going to the ground, and he has excellent defense on the ground, this guy. So, I like Vivanovic. He's less known and less liked fighter. Everyone loves Max Holloway, but I think Holloway gets his ass kicked. But hey, I mean, it's literally like right down the line as far as betting. Um, I just I like Vivanovic. I'm saying his name wrong, but with the V, he'll be that. I think that's the other. That's either the week after or the other main event, like the co-main event. Yeah, this is that's Holloway. That's vintage. So I like Ivanovic. And by the way, I like Uzma. As much as I love Masvidal, I just Masvidal has to drop 20 pounds, weigh in. Usman's a beast. That's what I wanted to do next, was show you some of his fights after, just kind of like they're gonna show you around, because there's like some other great fights, like female fights, and one of them, the girl's actually kind of hot, and that's always a big draw. And they're just going to Dubai and Fight Island. The whole experience is like, all that Qatar money going to what's her name out of Minneapolis there. Yeah, that's Dubai type money. Omar. This is just a flight. Uh, yeah, she's the one that's cute too. Sick bus. Is that bus all for her? She looks like a little princess. if you guys end up watching the fights, wait until you see her in the ring. She's a beast. She could probably beat up her boyfriend. Although he looks like he might fight too. Not at the level she does. Imagine that. Your girlfriend could beat you up. Ask James. I'm just trying to give you guys a feel for some of the other fights that are going to be on the card. I just hate that music in the background because I know they put it there. Fight Island, Dubai. I knew, and they were like, "Where's the location?" It's like top secret. I was like, "It's obviously going to be Dubai." Oh, so is this one in the throat? That's it? That's not as bad. Oh, look at that guy's nose. Damn. Oh, this is the other guy, Vulcan. I like this guy, Vulcan, against Max. Vulcan. I said his name totally wrong. I believe that was it. I think that's it. That's a female, right? She must be the one fighting the other girl. So Vulcan, I like him. That's the guy. I think I said it wrong. He's going up against Holloway. All right, come on. Oh, poor Gilbert Burns. Two of his cornermen. So him and his cornermen, all positive. Sounds shady. Reschedule a fight for a later date. That's what they were saying at first. But then they said, I bet you Dana, if it was legit, which I think it's fishy, but if it was legit, then Dana must have been like, shit. You know what? It's gonna be great. It's gonna sell big. It's perfect for Fight Island, but I gotta call Masvidal. And apparently he did. And these fighters, yeah, you either get it or you don't. It's just the weight part. So he has to drop 20 pounds. Like, for instance, like I weigh 215. My fighting weight would probably be like 165 or something like that. 165, 175. Yeah, I'm 6'2". Maybe 175. Something like that. That would be my fighting weight. These guys are like usually like 30 or 40 pounds heavier than their 30 pounds heavier than their. He must be questioning that. He must be like, all right, so me and my corner guys. They're all saying, get well soon, sorry, but they love it. They're like, oh, Masvidal. You knew who they're going to call, Mahdi. So let's go to the latest one. Confirmed. KAMARU USMAN versus Gilbert is off. So. Oh, that was kind of funny. Okay, let me this blew up last night, and I was gonna go live last night. I put up all the stuff that I do for Wise Guy Sports. I even got my coin out. I got from Richie from Boston. Oh, so I was telling you guys about, was that Israel right there? So what's up with him? Right. This is the other big. He's a like the hottest fighter, I would say, besides Khabib. Maybe the hottest fighter. He's the champ now. So I don't know. So are they announcing a fight? What? I don't understand. I want. I need to hear. Oh, versus John Jones. That's the undefeated fighter. I told you, like, made up a martial arts that isn't really a martial art, but it's basically like what he does. It's like a bunch of different martial arts put together. Well, most of the fight is a hybrid martial arts. No one's just like purely one thing. Um, I don't actually it could be, but I don't even. It's like jujitsu, but like with a twist. Like he's so strong, like his hands, like he'll just. He's just so strong, and then that's actually like the up and coming thing in UFC. In a few weight divisions, they got guys in the top three. Oh, that would be awesome. John Bones Jones against Israel, and Israel said that. That was before. That was like 3 fights ago. He said, "I'm gonna fight this guy, then this guy, then this guy." So far, he's beaten the first 2 guys, and the only one left is John Bones Jones. And he said it's gonna happen at Oakland, and I believe in like if like if you can picture it, you can do it. You know what I mean? And he like lives by that, and I think it's helped him be capable. He doesn't look like he looks small, right? The thing is, he's really tall, and he can do. He like if anyone knows about Anderson Silva, he's the closest thing you'll get to Anderson Silva. He actually fought Anderson Silva. He was one of those few. It was Anderson Silva, and then it was the Cuban guy. What's his name? We were just talking about him earlier. But then he fought him, and the next one he said would be Jones, and he pictured it at the brand new Las Vegas stadium for the Raiders. So that would be amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna really speed through this one. Stephen Thompson. Oh, John Jones. I guess he has like some. We found this man laying in the field, suffering some severe hydration. Basically, people started making something. They're like, "Oh, wow, you're a hero." Gatorade. We dragged him and forced him to drink a little food. You a hero now. Uh, oh, here we go. So Max Holloway against Vodic. Vodic. What do I get? Well, Vivivic. Well, how is it? I'm telling you, this guy. I like this guy because I'll tell you this. I got a tip on this fight. They said, listen, people love Holloway. People know nothing about this other. I got a tip on this fight. Oh, Vulcan out. So I had it right before. For Vulcan, and then his last name is like Auski, or however it's spelled. So the one with the wings on his back there, the other one got a cross on his back. So you got the angel against the cross. Anyways, I got this guy. Nothing to do with the tattoos. I'm just telling you, I got a tip. And just from what I've seen, I was like, really? Holy, really look good in his last. They're like, I'm telling you, this guy really knows fighting. So I'm gonna go with this tip. So that's my tip on that fight. That's going to be also on this card, I believe. It'll be the co-main event. So this is going to be talking a lot about that. They actually already fought, but it was like it was very controversial the way they called the winner. It's one of those fights where there needs to be a second one, kind of like when Conor fought Nate Diaz. And now that he's seen Holloway, oh yeah, in the last fighter cut, they always have like their fighter, all the guys, their cornermen who all get tested as well. And one of the cornermen is mic'd, and it's kind of weird because usually all you hear is the noise of the crowd, but instead, you can actually hear the cornermen, and you can hear not only like the strategy of cornerman to person, but you can also hear the other person's cornerman. So you can they're starting to like come up with like code words to mean different things. Well, this guy came out last Perry. I'm pretty sure it's Perry. Mike Perry came out last just this past Saturday, and he had his girl who was very gorgeous, and that was his corner girl. That's it. No corner men. No people in his corner. Didn't need any. He said, I didn't need any help training. And you know what? I think that there's like they say style makes fights. I think it was one of those situations where he saw that the other guy, as good as he was not a good fit against him. Like he was a perfect fit for himself. Mike Perry, and he was right. He beat the bag out of him, and then we go and sit down. This girl would basically put some ice on his shoulders. It's crazy. Him talking about it is actually the funniest. Oh, there it is, July 11th, Saturday. So look at that. They still have a lot of flying every day. They take like a coronavirus test and a lot of flying. I've seen so many interviews by Masvidal. I'm telling you, I'm taking Usman. I really like Usman. I mean, he's done so many interviews just today. I have a feeling there won't be any more. I feel like he got it all out of the way today, before his flight. And then he's going to get to business. But it's so funny, Stephen A. Smith. I'll show you guys a video about Stephen A. Smith. It's so weird having him cover UFC. He knows nothing about fighting. Nothing. He knows a little bit about boxing, but he knows nothing about like this type of fighting. Oh, these are people trying to, they're showing everyone gets the test, even Dana White. This is all above board. Yeah, okay. There he is, Volkanovski. So these are the guys. If you like to bet and you're comfortable taking Volkanovski, I actually think he's an underdog. We'll look at all the lines afterwards. Because part of Wise Guy Sports, it's not just sports news, it's also betting. And to the Red Pill Dispensary crew, thank you. This is like a conspiratorial thing. They switch fighters last minute because it's, they spent all this money on this and it would have been a dud. Now all of a sudden it's the talk of the town. So it's kind of funny how this is set up, and I think Usman's going to handle him. But I think you're gonna get the best bang for your buck. Wait, I'm telling you, the line's gonna move. It already has towards Masvidal's. It started out at like 3-1, like plus 280. If you want Masvidal, and like minus 330 or three something, yeah, something like that for the other guy. Look at that guy's nose. That's Holloway. I like the other guy, Vulcan. So remember that. Oh, they're making fun of the. He's right. Oh yeah, and I love it that they actually have beef. Have you guys, as you guys saw at the Super Bowl? No, he acts like he wants to do something, Usman, but he had a cast on. Is he gonna fight him with a cast? Yeah, see Holloway and Volkanovski. I like Volkanovski, and I like this man, Usman. Just wait for the lines to move on Usman and Masvidal. This is at the Super Bowl, by the way, in early February. Before, well, we knew about on the Red Pill dispensary, at least we knew about COVID. With an octagon on the beach, what? So you can like practice? Oh shit! Oh, Oh wow! No, wait. Is this just to train an octagon on the beach? If it is, that is amazing. I doubt they're fighting outside on the beach at night. No way. I'm pretty sure the picture I showed you. This is just, yeah, it's just for training. That's crazy. So it's called Yas Island, YAS, but they call it Fight Island, of course. That's pretty cool. That's money right there. Dubai. Oof. Uh, oh, Francis Ngannou. Now this guy is the most dangerous man that you could possibly go against in the octagon. He is currently the heavyweight. Is he a champion, or is there like some? I think there's some kind of like that there's some like weird thing where the interim champ can't fight because he's injured, but and nobody wants to fight this guy. Um, like not enough money to get someone to fight this guy. So he is a beast. I'll show you a like a quick highlight reel of him. he looks like scary. He's the heavyweight, I believe. So Nigerian Nightmare. It's funny. It's we watched that. Yeah. Now I gotta see that effing video all over Twitter. Yeah, this week. So that's the guy who lost. No, he's the other loser in this belt. Mm. Those kicks. Oh, that's Gat. Oh, he's a beat. He's a tough dude. He's the only guy that gave the guy I talk about because I saw in Nigeria for Nagano. The other guy is Israel, the skinny dude who I said fights like Anderson Silva and he's tall. He's amazing. John Bones Jr. is undefeated and he's been fighting for like what 15 to 10 over 10 years. This is the only guy who came close to beating Israel. Amazing. Israel actually said to him at the beginning of the 5th round, "I'm ready to die." And he went in there and he, that was the round. Whoever won that round was going to win the fight. And Israel handled him in that round. I think that it went the distance. It was a decision, but Israel won the fight. That'll be a good. Whoever he's fighting. I saw him rant. They just showed Gastelum at 7, and so the guy he's fighting is supposed to be above him at 6. I take Gastelum right there all day. I butchered the names, but Ferguson, yeah. Oh yeah, Ferguson will come. You know what happened with this guy Tony Ferguson? He has the best endurance, but you know what he did wrong? He cut way too much weight to fight a certain fight, so he just wasn't himself. He didn't have the old power that he had. His endurance didn't mean as much. You know, when you go against the smaller weight classes, sometimes what makes him so great against these bigger guys in his normal weight division is his endurance. Anyways. Cold-blooded KO. That's wow. No training cramp. 6 days. Oh man, I haven't had it on. Oh man, I screwed this up. I screwed up all this. You guys haven't been able to see this. Oh, I screwed this whole thing up. I screwed it all up. Oh my god, so the whole thing? Oh no. I should have been looking at chat more. Alright, so you guys can watch it. Alright, good. He's convincing when he starts talking, but I still like Usman. Well, hopefully you guys have been able to see it on the side by side. You keep saying that baptizing. Oh, that's another thing. Regular fights are 3 rounds. Championship fights are 5 rounds. So, you know, although what's weird is that Nate Diaz and Masvidal, I guess they do make exceptions because when Masvidal fought Diaz, when we watched that fight, they were going into the 4th round when they stopped it in New York. There's USMAN. Oh no, that's Masvidal. Look, what's he doing? He's in a pink robe and shit, saluting. He must be in Miami. For those of you guys, those of you guys didn't, so I hope you guys got to see this. Oh man, that is just embarrassing. Because you guys, if you understand how much hype there was about that guy, nobody was talking about Massa. Everyone was talking about Ben Askren and how he was undefeated in this other fighting league, and he's just too good of a wrestler. And they put him against they're like Jorge Masvidal's looked good pretty lately, so probably an easy fight to start off. Start off against Jorge. He's he's known to be a tough guy, this, and but I think it's a good starting fight to him and to have his debut. Well, so that's what he's thinking. Meanwhile, Jorge's talking all kinds of shit, and then the thing with the UFC is you can talk, but eventually you gotta fight. I mean, I know he's okay. That's why I'm laughing. But damn, that's Joe Rogan. Oh my goodness. So I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I want to hear what you guys think. So I got 2 chats up, just so you know. So this chat should have everyone in it. This chat should have everyone in it. All right, so I'm gonna take calls, but I gotta put limits because to be honest with you, my girl's gonna get pissed soon. I know she is because although Amanda kind of wants, she was like, she was like, "Are you doing a show tonight?" She was like, I don't know, because I was talking to her about some of the as far as for the people red pill people, some of the things I was talking to her about, she had some opinions on. So I was thinking maybe like a 2-for-1 type thing. All right, so I know Kevin's been waiting, so I'm gonna take a call from Kevin soon. Let me just show you. You guys haven't even seen Usman fight. I mean, but Kevin, are you calling about the about this whole situation with this test being positive at a very shady time and these fighters and all that? or a red pill type thing. Because tonight I am going to be doing an actual show, and that'll be explaining to the red pill crowd. Something happened last night. I'll have to explain it to you guys. And by the way, so where I broadcast anything for sports, if you guys want to keep up, it's yeah, I'll just show you guys. Show you quick. But if it is about this, Kevin, just let me know. And fuck, man. All right, so here's Wise Guy Sports, by the way. Now I can hear myself in echo. What the fuck is that sound? What is that sound? Where's that coming from? Oh yeah, well, I only got 16 subscribers. Well, you know what? I made this channel, and then soon after the COVID thing. So yeah, I mean, basically there was just for the end of the football season, and then there hasn't been any season since. So there's only 16 subscribers. So Wise Guy Sports, but it's also betting. There's a lot of betting. It used to be Wise Guy Sports and betting. All right, let me get off of this. I'm echoing. So yeah, if anybody interested in that, please do. Oh, shut up. Where do I have it up again? Oh, sorry about that. All right, let's get rid of that. So let me just see if Kevin wants to be on here. How you guys doing? So yeah, we're just right now we're just going over that. I saw from and somebody wanted me to open the line. I don't mind taking a call. But, for this, you know, we're talking about this sports. This well, the only sport that exists right now. Oh yeah, NASCAR came back. I guess NASCAR's number one. But we're talking about this stuff. This is gonna be crazy, and I think they set it up. The first island, this Fight Island, it's just not. It didn't look like it was gonna be good numbers, and they knew why. The guy that USMAN was fighting, everyone knew USMAN would kick his ass, and everyone wanted to see Jorge Masvidal. But all right, so here we go. Brief history of the beef. Yeah, this will be a good, just for a compilation. I mean, they only set up this fight last night, so they've been talking about each other for a long time. Because truly do not like each other. It's like personal. That's why this is the fight that people want. So the conspiracy part of this, why I also well, I need to get more numbers on Wise Sports. I didn't know it was that well. I thought it was like 100 and something. But if you're into sports and all that, and the betting, we did very good over there. But also, these guys have had a problem for a while, and I just kind of want to, just give you guys my take on things, but also I want to give you I want to show you the betting lines. I want to show you what my picks are. And hey, we'll see. But the conspiratorial part is that 6 days before the fight, the guy who isn't popular, all of a sudden, him and his whole corner has COVID. They didn't have COVID when they left the U.S., but they get COVID as soon as they get to Dubai. Then they test positive, which is possible, which I've talked about in the past. It lies dormant. It has that latency period of 10 to 14 days. We've talked about that in the show many times. So all of a sudden, that fight's gone, and everyone thinks the main event for, the opening of Fight Island is now nothing. They have to so they had to call Jorge Masvidal, the exact guy that everyone thought should have been fighting him. It's just that the UFC wouldn't pay him as much as he wanted. Well, they called him, and all of a sudden they were willing to pay him. They weren't willing to pay him the number he wanted, but it was a lot closer to that number. So he said yes. And now he has to drop 20 pounds, supposedly, and put his money where his mouth is, which we know he can obviously do if we've been watching. This is a true fighter. Trump's had him, do fights, Trump would host fights, street fight type stuff where, that's what elites do. I could see Trump doing something like that. At the Playboy Mansion, hosted a fight, after they won, probably gave him a couple of the girls. Not to disrespect women, but I'm just being real. These are the type of things that go on in the world, in the world of big money. See, when he's saying you took an L, I was explaining to you guys earlier that he was thinking of quitting the UFC. He was known as a street fighter that was, it was off and on. He was really on, then really off. He would beat people he should have lost to and lose the people he should have beat. And then he got back in touch with his roots, quit some stupid TV show he was on that he didn't want to be on. And I think he took ayahuasca, or I don't know what form, but I'm pretty sure that just the pure form of ayahuasca down in Peru. He's half Peruvian, half Peruvian, half Cuban. His mother's Peruvian, his father's Cuban, but he's American. He's born and raised in Miami. And, he got in touch with his roots, and all of a sudden, usually you come back with a message after one of those ayahuasca trips, and the message that he came back with is, hey, don't let things get to you. Don't let things bother you. Just let things roll off your shoulders. And once he came back, and he just had a total different outlook on life, all of a sudden, he just started blasting through the whole UFC. He jumped right to the top of the division, and just literally had anyone that he's fought, he has beat the hell out of. And we're talking championship caliber. The last 3 or 4 of them, either passed or good enough to be champion. Some people, you might have someone like a Conor McGregor, hogging the belt for a few years in your prime. Anyways, this should be a good video to put it all together. But I just want to make clear that these losses he's talking about, that was a different man. Although I'm predicting him to lose. With all that said, I'm predicting him to lose. It's just, the whole thing sounds shady, but it is a lot to risk. So if it is legit, it's just too much. you got to do all these interviews. It's just like 6 days to get ready, and then you got to fight for your life against the best fighter who is actually bigger than you. And he's already trained up and ready. The good thing is he is trained for a different style of fighter, which we've seen come back to bite people like Connor. So it should be interesting in that way. But I like Usman. I mean, it started out like minus 280, minus 280 for Usman. So I think it's gonna go down to like 2-1, and at that point I would take it. If it goes any lower than 2-1, um, I would only hesitate because I would be worried like the fix is in even further than you know, you know what I'm saying? Because we know that he's associated with those shady characters in the past. So who's to say, that the fix wouldn't be in and otherwise? So, anyways, I like Usman. Look at that. Look at Usman. He's not as popular, but he's very good. Ha! It's kind of like a BS belt. Yeah, this is basically when he. Yeah, welterweight. I showed you that a few times. Fastest knockout ever. You see Usman? He was like, damn. 16 years? I didn't know he was fighting for that long. That was at Super Bowl. Is he wearing the same robe that he was wearing getting on the plane? Yeah, he knows it because Masvidal's involved. Well, all of a sudden, this has really become. So I like the guy in the top left there too. I just got to see this. I know it's ESPN. Man, I want to hear what he. So he FaceTimed Dan Cormier, who actually does. He calls the fights with Rogan, and he's still currently fighting. I mean, he might be the only heavyweight that could possibly even have even inkling of a chance against this guy Nagano, who I'll show you some highlights right now after this. Uh-oh, something bad's gonna happen. Uh-oh, something happened. Because it just did something weird. They just hit me with something. I definitely got hit with something. Everybody's here? We're still live? Alright. I think I definitely got hit with something. Alright. Whatever. If Red Pill News Dispensary all of a sudden it gets, because that's a bigger, they watch that channel. just go to what? Yeah, I'll take USMAN. Why does it say one person is watching? What is going? You know what? Did this like stop playing a while ago? Cause I just like saw like a yeah. You know what? No one said after Alvin Jr. said this. I haven't seen anything in a while. All right then. All right, guys. So I don't know. It must be Anyways, this is Wise Guys Sports. We'll end on this. We'll end on this. Huh? Interesting. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna end it at that. This is Matthew in Framingham. It looks like they might have cut the stream anyway because it showed only one person. But as far as like the red pill people, I'll be doing a red pill show tonight. But Wise Guy Sports. Anybody who wants to subscribe, please subscribe. I'm serious. Let my picks speak for themselves. So I was gonna put this out last night so I could say you heard it here first, but you might have not heard it here first. But if you did, there it is. Wise Guys Sports News and Betting. Matthew and Framingham, Red Pill Dispensary. Signing off. Something went wrong. Wonder if this. Yeah, see, it was. And that was at the 19.